What up, man? I picked a hell of a spot to park. Um, I pulled up here, man, and cause I was just tired, man. And, you know, what I'm saying, I'm not one of those drivers you need to implement the ELDs on, man. But I'm driving, and I just got tired, man, and I figured they wasn't gonna take me at the delivery spot, and so I pulled over here, and then boom, like I'm like right next to the way station, which is like, this is 95, and I'm like right next to the way station. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is like the third state trooper that didn't pull the dude in here, and my fear is they gonna come and knock on his door, talking about come on out here for this level 1, and I'm just gonna play stir crazy, like, bruh, it ain't happening. I ain't got nothing for you. I'm gonna just be in the back. I won't even come to the front. You know, it's messing up my clock. I gotta go on duty. I don't know what'll happen if I have to open the door or not. I'll just act like, man, I was just in there asleep. I ain't hear you. But yeah, man, they've been pulling them over left and right. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. Hey, you know what? I ain't gonna sit here and cap. I have not always been squeaky clean. You know what I'm saying? So I guess from doing wrong so long in my life, I still got this like fear, not like an unhealthy fear, I guess. It's just like I get uncomfortable around police, man. I guess I still do have a fear, like, of police. Like, anytime they come around, I'm like, you know what I'm saying, man, is everything tight, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody on this planet squeaky clean, man. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I mean, we all got skeletons. We all got dirt, right? So, anyway, hopefully I'll be all right. I wanted to do this video, man. I thought it'd be all right. It'd be cool. I seen a couple other videos. Some of this stuff that I'm going to ramble off, I heard mentioned, some didn't. But this video is about trucker slang. Trucker slang. I mean, if you guys are seasoned, you've been in the game for a minute, I guess you like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Let me hear one I ain't heard. So I'm sure that, you know, you probably heard some of these, probably all of them. If you heard all of them, you definitely seasoned, or you've been around a trucker for some time. You know, I've been in the game for about 5 or 6 years. I'm still green, man. I still got some ways to go. But here we go. The bear. While we at it, the bear. Smokey the Bear. I believe that's where it came from. If you guys remember Smokey the Bear, he wears that hat. Looks like a state trooper, right? The bear. So the bear, if you ever here on the CB, you got a bear up here, you know, and you know it's the state trooper is up ahead. You need to slow down, watch your speed, get over to the left or whatever. That's that. I'm gonna go ahead to one that, if you never want to call a truck driver, this is very offensive to a truck driver, and it is good buddy. Okay, and I slipped up and said this before. Oh, what's going on? Here go my good buddy. No. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. Good buddy means homosexual. So you definitely do not want to call a fellow trucker, or anyone for that matter, a good buddy. Don't want to do that. One day I was coming from Florida, man, and it was like one of the first times I was there, and I'm riding, and it was just starting to get dark, and I was like, oh man, there's a gator on the side. And when I got up close to it, it was just the recap tires. If you guys aren't familiar, if you hung around this long, then you probably don't know, or just want to be entertained, whatever. But retread tires are basically old tires that they recondition and put a new tread and just glue it onto the old bald tire. I'm totally against it. And if you're ever riding on the freeway and you see a long strip of tire tread, that is retread that then blew off, because you got to really watch the air in them, which you should do anyway for fuel mileage. And then you also have to watch the temperature, because they will blow, and that's what that is. It's a blown retread tire, and ironically, the name of that is gator. So if you hear drivers say, man, it's a gator up here in the road, it's not time to pull the camera out. You're talking about a piece of a retread that then blew off, because it looks like alligator's back if you look at the tread of the tire. All right, blew my doors off. If you ever hear the driver say, man, that 379 Pete there, they blew my doors off. Well, that means that 379 went past him mighty fast, and or peeled the paint off my truck. So that just means you went by me pretty fast. You blew my doors off. Let's go there. Skateboard. So you got skateboard, and while we at it, we might as well throw in dry box. We got babysitters, and we got bed buggers. Okay. Number one, skateboard. Skateboard is pretty much the slang that we use for anybody who is into flatbedding. If you are pulling a flatbed trailer, you are considered a skateboarder, or you're pulling a skateboard, not a skateboarder. You're pulling a skateboard. Okay. If you are pulling a dry van, we will call that, you might hear it called dry box. If you are pulling a reefer, we call that babysitter. You're babysitting because you got to constantly make sure, the light is still green on it, make sure the temperature is still good and all of that. You're babysitting the load. Bed buggers. Okay. Bed buggers is anybody who is moving people's home furniture, moving homes. Like I think it's Atlas is one of them, one of the companies, and they move. And I was thinking about doing that too, but anyway. But bed buggers, because they figure you're gonna get bed bugs. You're hauling bed bugs, for other people's furniture. Might have bed bugs, hence the name bed buggers, to those who move people from one home to another. Skateboard, they call it skateboard because a flatbed is just flat, and steps, they just call step deck steps because you got the step, but skateboard is just all the way across. Dry box, so that's why they call it skateboard. Dry box with a dry van clear. Dry van, dry product, dry box, dry van, dry box. The box is a trailer, dry box. Okay. All right, moving along pretty fast, man. So this might be, semi-quick video. We have hog piss. Hog piss. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hog piss is diesel, DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. They call that hog piss. Now, I do not have an explanation for that one, but that's there. Hog piss. Large car. If you are, in my opinion, if you have a long-nosed Pete, any kind of hood, I would say a Pete and K-Whopper, or that's another one, K-Whopper. That is a Kenworth, or Kingsworth, you may hear it called, or Kenny'sworth. Those are slang for Kenworth. But if you drive a Peterbilt or a W900L, any kind of hood, they're, subjectively for me, that is considered a large car. I guess they're like riding cars. I mean, you lean back, you You're cruising, you're chilling, you're looking good, going down the road. It's pride in your bride. It's a large car. It's no longer a truck. Tall rubber. Well, a lot of guys used to run tall rubber back in the day, and most trucks nowadays is 22.5, which is the circumference of the tires, your steers, your drives is 22.5. Okay, well, you have a 24.5, which I have on the 379 Pete, and that is a taller rubber, and that is a 24.5, and they call that tall rubber. So 24.5 tall rubber. All right, let's see. Some of the things, like, coming up, and I don't have a detailed explanation, but I found a lot of people that I met, and nothing against company drivers, but most of the guys that I met, they were company drivers, and they were driving nice rigs, and it wasn't like an outfit that I knew of. So I would talk, man, it's a nice rig, yada yada. Hey man, what's the rear set at? Rears, I don't know, man. I just drive. You know what I mean? Oh, what kind of engine you got? Oh, it's a cat. It's a cat. Oh yeah, it's a cat. I know. Now, from him not knowing what the rears were, kind of made me think, like, I don't know if you got a cat in this. It was like a 2015, so I was like, well, what color is it? Is it yellow? He's like, oh no, it's red. Okay, so if you know anything about trucking, cat motors, unless you painted it, is yellow. Green is the old Detroit 60. Red is a Cummins. So he had a Cummins in there. Not Cummings, but Cummins. He had a Cummins in there. And man, you see him still like rubbernecking, man. So he didn't know, and so he didn't know what the rears were, and I was like, I guess if I never, went to wanting to be an owner operator, I probably have stayed ignorant too, and just not know. All I care about is that I get a check every week. I don't care about what the gear ratio is and all of that. But your rear ends is your gear ratio. Now, don't get me to lying, but I believe it's like, okay, so like you got tall gears and low. So tall gears, as a matter of fact, you got your transmission. Okay, you got your 18 speed would be tall. Your tall gears would be like when you get up into your higher gears, from like most of the time when you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, or 6, 7, 8, 9 to the higher gear, when you have to flip your switch. Forgive me. You flip your switch up, and you go up into the higher gears. I forget the name of it, but anyway, I apologize. Like I said, I never claimed to know everything, but those are your taller gears. But he didn't know his gear ratio, and so like a 370, 355, those is more for pulling. So I believe it's 3 turns of the engine equals 55 turns at the wheel. I could be possibly wrong, but it's something like that. And you got, your 260, your 264s, which is kind of geared more towards fuel mileage with a direct drive transmission. It has no overdrive. So that's all for fuel efficiency. But yeah, man, if you're gonna get into trucking and get deeper into it, and not just be, a company driver, then you will inevitably learn these things as you go along, because it's gonna start to be important to you. I admit I did not really know all that much about rear ends, and I didn't really care. But when I got into this truck with 264 rears with a 10-speed transmission, direct drive, man, 430 at 430 at the pedal, 470 on the cruise control. Meaning when I just stepping on the pedal manually, it's 430 horsepower. When I go into cruise control, it can get to 470. Hey man, it's gutless, bro. I could be like 20,000 in the box, fresh fuel filter, everything, man, and it's just like, wow. Going up Fancy Gap, man, if that load is 40,000, man, I'm probably dropping down 3 gears, whole gear. Well, obviously whole gears, but I may be in 6th gear, man, going like maybe 25, 30 miles if I'm lucky. If it's fully gross, might have to break that baby all the way down to 5. Being 5, maybe even have to drop down to the low side and get down to 4 and be at like 20 miles an hour. You know, man, it's crazy. Crazy. One thing, just as I'm rambling along, that I heard is that your gears represent the speed that you're going. So if you're going 55 miles an hour, 5 plus 5, you should be in 10th gear. I don't know. At 55 and over, obviously you're higher gear. If you're going 35 miles an hour, 3 and 5 is 8, so you should be in 8th gear. Yeah, and I believe like if you're like at some point in time it just drops off to below. But hey, I don't know if you guys ever heard that or not, something like that. So, but I heard something like that, and I do like all trucks that I've been in. Once you get to like 55, you pretty much need to be in your top gear, which for the Pete is 18, and for this is 10th gear. You better be there. 9th gear is like, you know, I'm at 45. You know what I'm saying? There it is, 9, 4, 5. I'm at 45 miles an hour. So, but all of them seem to go at 65 to 70. It's right at about 15 RPMs, 15, 1600 RPMs. So there you have that. But yeah, man, get to know, you know, your truck. It's just good to know, man. And you know, you get in the shop, just ask some questions. You never know, you know, when you may need that knowledge. I, for one, am really trying to work on my handiwork and starting to do my own stuff. Definitely like oil changes, air filters, things of that nature. As you can see, last but not least, I am back in the Freightliner. The Peterbilt is down again. Be prepared, man. Police still out here. The bear. Man, gone somewhere. Anywho. Yeah, man, so when I got the truck back from Ohio, man, these damn flies, man, I swear I killed one, it'd be another one. When I got the truck back from Ohio, did my little, you know what I'm saying, post-trip inspection. I looked on the side, the hot side of the engine, which is where the turbo is at, and I saw a little bit of oil. That wasn't as alarming as when I got under the truck and I saw a lot of oil coming from my transmission. So I automatically knew it was a rear main seal. So the rear main seal, told him go ahead and do the air horns. When I was on the way back home, I rolled the window down. Then I tried to roll it back up. It wouldn't roll up. Some ingenious idea came over me to say, open the door and shut it. So I opened the door while I was driving. I was parked. Yeah, so I opened the door and shut it real quick, and then it allowed it to roll up a little bit. Opened it, shut it again, it rolled up all the way. So I was like, that's janky. That ain't supposed to be like that. Go on and fix that while it's in there, man. Like, I'm not trying to come back in the shop no time soon. Like, I got crazy money in this right now. Outside of what I put down to pay for this truck, I have just spent $6,000 between getting 8 drives and all the little miscellaneous little work done. This and now is going to be another, right now we're at $7,000 on the estimate side, because it is a rear main seal, and when they have to do your rear main seal, you got to drop the transmission, and when you drop the transmission, you're right there at the clutch. You got to do all of that. So when they looked at the clutch, they like, man, your clutch ain't no good. And I was like, man, I knew that. Like, you know, like, I float gears like most of you guys that has been doing it for a minute. That's this pesty ass fly, man. And when I float gears, like I could be going, like, let's say 65 on the freeway, and then I'm coming to an exit. Well, I'll come out of 65. I'll come and go into neutral and glide off the freeway. You know, hitting it lightly, tapping the brakes a little bit to slow down as I see fit. Now, let's say that light turns green on you. Okay, well, normally I would just, you know what I'm saying, again, check the speed. You just kind of get a feel. And I can't even tell you what gear I put it in, but I just kind of get a feel, you know what I'm saying? Normally, you would just break down one gear, but if you have dropped down tremendously from like 65 to like 35, well, you might need to be in like 8th gear or 7th gear, probably 8. Again, 3 and 5, 35, 3 plus 5 is 8th gear. So I will just go glide into 8th. I would just, you know, rev the engine up to match the RPMs, to match the gear that I'm about to go in, and then boom, it just glides right in. You know, it kind of sucks it in itself. And so with the P, man, I couldn't do that. I tried everything, and I would literally have to just go one gear at a time, man. One gear at a time. I'm about to cut this video because I need to cut this fly. But so as a clutch, man. All right, make a long story longer. $7 more $1,000 for everything. Air horn, check my air leaks. The gauges, get all my gauges working. The all the gauges, the lights, again, the air horns, a rear main seal, new clutch, and all that stuff. Not the flywheel. They're gonna resurface the flywheel, and clutch, brake, all that stuff, man. So yeah, man, about to be $7,000. So I gotta get to work, man. Gotta get to work. So let me work on this damn fly, because I feel crazy, you know, sitting here like. Till next time, Mr. 18 Toes Down. Y'all be good, man.